What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Swing Trade Shag back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about Blackberry stock, ticker symbol BB. I'm going to go over the recent price action, some key levels to watch for buying opportunities, and the scenarios I have to see to warrant buying this stock. The price is currently trading at one of my key levels, about the 860 support zone that I have mapped out. And stick around to the end as I'm going to explain why I believe there's a chance we may see a bounce in the short term, similar to what we saw on April 1st. On this doji candlestick. So as always, if you enjoyed this video, smash the like button and subscribe for future videos. And before we start, just a quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. This video is intended for entertainment purposes only. Now let's get into it. So just going to start off on the weekly time frame. So looking on the weekly time frame to start off, we see that throughout the last 2 weeks, we have tested between my resistance level at 933 and my support level at 862. In the long term, we've seen some indecisiveness as the stock continues to trade between these levels, but we have some signs that the selling may have cooled off since the steep decline from our highs in January. It looks as though the 862 support line has been holding and we're still currently trading above the 50-day moving average, so we do have some bullish signs for a possible bounce play in the short term. However, although we are getting signs that selling pressure is getting lower, we never want to tunnel in on our short-term beliefs without taking into consideration the long-term trend. Now, as of right now, let's just zoom out a bit. Although we have some bullish indications, the stock is still trading in an overall downtrend, and the bounces on these support levels have not led to significant moves to the upside after being tested numerous times. Now we have seen the price bounce between 933 and 860, which is why I believe on the lower time frame, we might be able to find a short-term play for some quick profits. To summarize though, on the longer time frame, which is important for your overall outlook whenever you're trading, the price action still looks very bearish. Now let's go to the daily. So what we've seen in the recent price action, we saw my bullish long-term trend line that I'd drawn out previously. We saw a break of that. Okay. And just before our earnings report, I anticipated in my last video that I'd made that we would see a break of this support line and a test of our next support zone at 860, which is what we did see. There was a lot of bearish sentiment in the market for Blackberry, so it was very predictable and a high probability that we would see a test of this zone. I also stated that after we would see this test of the zone, we would likely see a bounce to retest our prior support and confirm it as resistance before we continue to see a move lower. Now, this is what we ended up seeing, and now we're currently trading back at that zone. We've seen some nice short-term reactions at the zone. After seeing a similar doji candlestick that we saw on April 1st, we now see another one on the close of this Friday. Dojis are generally a good reversal indicator with confirmation, of course, which is why Monday's price action is very key, as it must close above the highs of this candlestick to determine whether we see a retest and a possible double bottom formation of this resistance level. In the bigger picture, we've seen a break of my long-term bull trend. We're currently trading below all of our moving averages, and our RSI indicator is sloping downwards. So as of right now, we're bearish on the weekly time frame, and we are also bearish on the daily time frame as well. But we do have a short-term bullish scenario that can play out, and we can see a test of 933, depending on a close above our doji candlestick on Monday. So now I just want to quickly look at the 1 hour time frame as well, see what we see in the short term. Our directional bias is still bearish on both time frames. And on the daily or on the hourly, just to quickly check, we see that the price action is still bearish. We see a market structure consisting of lower highs and lower lows. And price is also trading below all of our moving averages here as well. However, in the last couple hours, we did see a bullish engulfing candlestick on our support zone with 2 candlesticks with rising volume, indicating that maybe we do see a close above our doji on the daily, but that would be dependent on Monday's candlestick. So based on our multi-time frame analysis, we're currently bearish on the weekly chart, the daily chart, and the hourly chart. But there are some positive signs that may create some nice swing plays in the short term. So in the short term, if you're currently long or are looking to long, you have the potential to make a quick swing play to 933. Now, this is a riskier play, as you never want to try and catch a falling knife, but if you have a higher risk tolerance and lack some patience, then this wouldn't be a terrible buy, and here's why. We see an equal low on the support level with a doji candlestick, which we've previously seen react at the zone. If we see this doji get confirmed, and we see a break of 950 above here, we would have confirmation of a double bottom as well, which is a strong reversal pattern. We would also be, on Monday, we would be looking for a close above this doji. And on the hourly time frame, we will be looking for a break in the bearish market structure in the form of higher highs and higher lows instead of lower highs and lower lows. And we would want to see a retest and possible break of resistance. Do not tunnel in on the double bottom reversal potential, which is something I would not trade given the overall look of this chart. Now, for those of you who are more risk adverse and looking for safer opportunities, here are the two scenarios that would warrant buying in my opinion. So my first scenario is we see a break of that 950 resistance level, which would break the market structure on the daily. So let me just draw out that structure for you. So we have our lower high, our lower low, lower high, higher low. If this gets confirmed, we want to see our higher high. Retest of this resistance, which would be our buying opportunity, and then expectation, it continues to move to the upside. So this would provide a reversal opportunity, and ideally on the retest of that resistance level of 950 as a support would be good for buying opportunities. If we see this doji candlestick confirmed on Monday, it's possible that we see this scenario play out in the near future. But as you can see, this doji candlestick has no confirmation, so we don't have a clear direction in price, but all of our timeframes are indicating that we will see continued move to the bear side. So our second option would be that we see this doji candlestick fail and we see a close below our zone, so below about 838. This would indicate that price will continue its next impulse move to the downside. So we have our impulse move, pullback, next impulse move, okay? And if we see this, we'll likely see our first test of the demand zone I've marked out at about 757. Now, this is the more ideal option for buying this stock, and I would personally buy the shit out of this at this zone. Demand zones are areas that we once saw price consolidate for a bit, which we saw here, before buyers aggressively entered the market, which started our initial uptrend. This indicates that there's a lot of demand at these zones, so it's important to watch these. And if you look at the weekly time frame as well, it is likely going to be an area that we will find support from the 50-day moving average as well. So this will be a very powerful zone for me, and I love to buy stocks on the first retest of a demand zone. So personally, this is the level that I would love to buy Blackberry stock. So just remember when looking at these scenarios and getting a little bit antsy, especially if you've been in the stock for a while and you've been getting beaten down pretty bad, just remember that patience is rewarded in these markets. And with an overall bearish outlook, it is best, in my opinion, to wait and see if prices continue lower towards this zone. But like I said, if you have more risk tolerance, then there are reasons why you could be buying here and it wouldn't be too bad. But in my opinion, there's a strong possibility we see prices go lower. But anyways, that's it for me. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like on this, subscribe for future videos, and I'll see you guys in the next.